cycle to the gym, and we are doing deadlifts today. So that means I'm going to have to warm up my groin and my hamstring. Even though I've cycled for like 35 minutes already, I just want to make sure that the groin area is completely warm, because I don't want it to be a limiting factor in my deadlifts today. So this ball right here is my friend. Stick it underneath, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Stick it underneath your groin area, your hamstring area, and put a lot of your body weight, not all your body weight, but enough that it's not painful, but you're aware of it. And then you just straighten up your arm. And it's a really, really good way of releasing the fascia. Fancy way of saying releasing all the tendons and fibers, loosening them up. Because at the moment they're so tight from the cold and the injury that I find I really have to loosen them up on this side before I deadlift. Otherwise, I can really, really, really feel the groin area and hamstring area and all the injuries. And then obviously that limits my deadlift. So I'm going to do probably 3 rounds of this. And each time about 20 to 30 leg extensions. And each time I'm going to move the ball just a bit, so that I can work different areas of the groin and the hamstring, going inside and outside, more towards the glutes and further down towards the knee. And even if you don't have an injury, if you find your hamstrings are tight and you need to release them, this is an excellent way of just warming up the area. It's not a stretch, it's a dynamic movement. And it's kind of like, someone like digging in with their elbow, but, you're not paying someone to do it, you're doing it yourself. So cost-effective way of just rehabbing the X area and helping with any knots that you may have, any tightness in the area. So as you can see, I'm just moving the ball around on my hamstring and getting every single area. So I'll do a few more reps, and then I'm going to do some decline, is it incline? I'm not too sure. Some single leg hip thrusts, just to warm up the hamstring as well. As you can see, I'm only doing the one hamstring. I'll do a little bit on the other hamstring, but since this is my primary focus and my primary injury issue, I'm primarily doing it on the left leg. So I'm going to superset that with some hip thrusts, some good old hip thrusts. All right. So with this, okay, you want to make sure that the weight is distributed onto your heel, mid-foot to heel, right? You don't want to be pressing through your toe. You want to engage your glutes and your hamstrings as much. You can even put your hand on your glute and your hamstring like I do, just to make sure you're actually feeling in the right area. Nice and slow, controlled, all the way down, and extend as high as you possibly can, and always controlled. Squeeze your glute at the top of each leg as well. Okay, 8 to 10 reps. So I've got 2 more. Okay, and then the other side. If this is too difficult, just do it flat on the floor, single leg. And if single leg is also a bit too difficult, just do both legs together. So there are always adaptations and progressions to making something difficult or more easy, depending on where you are in your fitness journey. And never feel intimidated by someone doing something. Just remember, everyone's in a different path, on a different path. Everyone is progressing at a different level. And there are plenty of things that I can't do and then I would have to scale and vice versa. So, you may be great at one thing and need to work on another thing. So take your time and figure out where you are. Okay, one more. Right. So that is the superset that I'm going to do to warm up my hamstrings. I'm going to do 3 rounds of that. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll catch you in a bit for deadlifts. Oof. Going to get some salt to make me strong. Okay, so nice and warm, and we're going to start with 70 kilograms for 4 reps. So remember, week 2, everything's 4. And the cues, remember all the cues. So you want to line up the bar with the mid of your foot, okay? About shoulder width apart. You need to find where the positioning is the strongest for you. For me, I like to go shoulder width apart, toes a little bit out, but not like super out, not like I would if I was like snatching or cleaning, something like that. So toes are marginally out. Weight is distributed mid to heel of your foot, so you're almost like falling a little bit back, okay? And then I grip just outside of my feet, so slightly wider than shoulder width. Okay, remember to keep your back tight at all times. And a little trick, look in front of you, slightly up, so that, because if your eye line is down, you're more likely to fall forward. And obviously you don't want to. You want to be almost like falling back, driving that bar up, and getting your weight in your heel as you come up to be as explosive as possible. So you can see with every single rep, I dead stop, so I reset with every single rep. It makes it start slightly harder because I'm not using the rebound of the bar with the reps. I'm doing every single rep fresh, contracting my back nicely, resetting and going. It makes it harder, but that's a better way to build up the strength. And since strength is the primary goal, that's exactly what you want to do. So whoa, I'm going to jump to 110. So that was 70. I'm going to add 20 to the bar for my next set. So in the beginning, I don't need to rest too long. It's only when I actually start getting to my working weights that I really like to rest between my sets, make sure I'm as refreshed as possible. So set 2, exactly the same principle. Okay, so feet shoulder width apart. You want to get to the point where your cues and setting up from the bar becomes like almost thoughtless, like it's just part of the process. You set up with every single rep exactly the same, whether you're going light or heavy, because obviously the heavier it goes, the more you need to make sure that everything is exactly the same. You don't want to be loose, you don't want to be you don't want your feet to be slightly wider or slightly narrower. So learn how the feet look in position to the bar, in position to the gnarling, etc., etc. Just make sure that everything is systematically the same every single rep, so that you're as consistent as possible and your body learns the same movement and you can get stronger in the same movement with every single rep. So this is set 2. Remember, I like to engage my scapula before I go down, so I know what it feels like. and then I can do it when I go down. So I feel my back out before I go down, engage my lats, pull my scapula together, keep everything nice and tight before I go down. And then I tighten up. Okay, so set 2. Right. And again, I stay tight with my breathing the entire way through. So I don't release my breath until the bar's pretty much down on the floor. So it's unlike the squat and whatnot where I end up like breathing out as I finish the movement. With this, I stay tight the entire time. But that felt solid. So 110. Um, let's do 140. 140. 120. So that was 110. So I've got to add 30. Fuck, my maths is shit. Right, okay, so this is going to be 140 for the next one. And I like to put clips on my deadlifts. So I don't put clips on when I'm doing bench for safety reasons, obviously. So if you're benching alone, it's better to not have clips on so that if you fail, you can pivot to one side and then the other side and drop the weights off the bar. But if I'm squatting or if I'm deadlifting, I tend to put clips on because with a squat you can drop the bar, and obviously with a deadlift you don't want to be lifting it and the plates start to slide off to one side. So I do like to clip up definitely for deadlifts, especially if I'm going nice and heavy. I don't want an asymmetry or an imbalance of weight because okay, so I don't know when that cut off recording, so hopefully I didn't lose too much. So this is 140 for 4, my next working set. So again, nice and tight. As you can see, I'm keeping my shirt on until I'm really, really warm, making sure that, because I tend to get cold quite quickly. So the last thing I want to do is like be wearing minimal layers and I'm not warm because obviously if I'm cold, I risk an injury. So I'm keeping as warm as possible. So this is my next warm-up set, 140 for 4. Ooh, right. Felt heavier than I expected. Is that 140? Pretty sure it is. 50, 60, 70. That's 100. Yeah, 140. So, what is my goal weight for today? Let's have a look. My goal weight is at least 160. So I'm gonna jump to 160. So that was 140, 150, 160. So I'm gonna add 10 aside and just see how it feels. But I'll have a bit of a rest before that. And ooh, my head's gone. So I'm gonna rack it up to 160, rest, and then I'll catch you on the next set. Hopefully it's doable. Yeah. Yeah. Right, so this is essentially, hopefully, set 1. Oh, the anxiety, or the stress, or the, I don't know, like the heart palpitations of like, can I do this? It's been a while since I've gone this heavy. Yes! Happy with that. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna stay there. Could I potentially go up a little bit? Yeah, potentially. But I don't know. So I'm gonna stay there. I've got 3 more sets. So I feel like if after the second set I'm strong enough to go up to 162.5, I will. But I don't know. Actually, no hamstring issues. Doesn't feel like I'm hitting my hamstring or my glute, so that's good. No pulls. Just a little heavy feeling, but not terrible. So I'll do another set on 160 for 4, and then see if I go up to 162 or not. So I'll catch you in a bit. Nice long rest. Okay, so I changed my mind and I did put 160 on the bar, 162.5 on the bar. So this could go horribly wrong and I may only get 3 reps out of it. But hopefully not. Hopefully it's a solid 4 reps. So 162.5 and 4 for my second working set. Everything stays the same, nothing changes. That's happy with that. Yeah, so I'm going to stay there, 162.5. It's my second set. Got 2 more sets on that weight. And then I'll move on to some ring dips. But I'm fucking happy with that. The thing is, I realized after the CrossFit, I lost a lot of confidence. Like, CrossFit kind of like nailed my confidence in a few things that I was confident at. So even things that I think I'm okay at, I have no confidence in. Like the deadlift. Deadlifts used to be one of those things that I had so much confidence in, and now even walking up to a bar that I used to fucking like nail, like it was piss for me, I really struggle to mentally believe I can do it, and that's a huge factor, is mental belief, that self-belief that you're like, yeah, I can do this. And I know also I weigh a lot less, which obviously will impact my strength as well. So I'm essentially trying to hit numbers that I could do 10 to 15 kilograms heavier than I am now. So that is another factor. And I don't know if it necessarily plays on my self-belief and my confidence, but probably is in the back of my mind. They're kind of going, okay, but you're a lot lighter, and this is weight that you could do when you were like 175, when you were 75 kilograms, 76, 77, 80 kilograms. You're 64 kilograms now. Can you still actually do it? So that is a factor for me, but I was really happy with 162.5. So 2 more sets on this. Let's hit it, get some rest. Hi there, so I just finished training and I thought I got a bit of time, I might as well film the wrap up of my training session at the gym and just catch you up on everything. It was so busy at the gym today and I just felt very distracted, like I couldn't focus. Literally, like as soon as I finished the deadlifts, my mind was all over the place and I was very distracted, and I found it really, really, really hard to focus on training. And I think that's one downside at the moment, because even though I've got direction and path, like I know I want to get stronger, I want to get my max lifts up, it's kind of like, okay, but I don't have a competition I'm aiming for, I don't know specific numbers that I want to hit, I don't quite know exactly which direction I'm heading in. Am I going to focus more on calisthenics? Am I going to focus more on calisthenics, you know, the four lifts being the dip, the pull up, the muscle up, and the pull up, muscle up, oh, and the squat? Or should I focus primarily back on the powerlifting rep range lifts, which is the squat, the bench, and the deadlift? The thing is that I just don't feel confident with my squat the way it is, and both of those incorporate the squat. So until I can feel like I'm at numbers with my squat that I feel really comfortable with and confident with, I'm kind of like, I can't really enter a competition, and I can't really solely commit myself to something. And I am very competitive by nature, so for me it's kind of like, you know, okay, so my numbers are okay in most of the rep ranges and most of the exercises, but my squat's nowhere near competitive enough. So what do? You know, so I think it was just one of those days where I just didn't feel 100% focused, because I had a plan and I did it, but it was like, okay, but what now? Do I do accessories? Do I do powerlifting accessories? Do I do calisthenics exercises? You know, I'm not too sure. And I think that is a problem that I need to resolve, because I do need direction and focus. And right now I'm just like, wow, that was a weird noise, but yes. So I did the deadlifting. I was really happy with the fact that the groin and the hamstring did not flare up. Yes, the deadlifts felt heavy. I only managed 162.5. The goal had originally been 165, but I'm happy with 162.5 considering I'm still in a bit of a deficit diet. Obviously, I'm going into maintenance, as I explained the other day, but it's going to take my body a while before I exactly know where the maintenance calories are. So I did that, and then I went to do muscle ups, and this is something I just discovered today, so I will share with you. It looks like you can't do deadlifts and muscle ups on the same day, because I just could not. Like, I tried, I used to be able to do about 4 to 5 body weight, and I only managed 2, and they were ugly. They were like ugly. And then I tried with 2.5 and I managed 2, and then I started failing, so then I went back to body weight and I did a 3 or 4, and then I ended up just doing high pulls. So it was just like really ugly. Also, obviously, because I've been hitting heavier and heavier rep ranges with my pull-ups and my chin-ups, I think my lats are quite fatigued with the pulling motions that I've been doing all week. So there is a chance that combined with the deadlifts, my back is in a state of FU. So I really struggled with muscle ups, and I'm probably going to have to look at where I can space them in to get maximal results in my training program, and I definitely cannot do them with deadlifts. So that was a lesson learned. And then I moved on to my ring dips, but I felt very disjointed. There were people everywhere. Like, I had to wait for the rings because people were doing front levers and back levers and all sorts of fancy things, and I was just like amazed, but at the same time I was like having to try to space my way in between all of them, and I couldn't focus. And it was one of those, I think I probably could have gone heavier. I ended up doing 37.5 kilograms, 4 reps, 4 sets on 37.5 kilograms. I couldn't use the lapel because people were there and I couldn't film properly, and I was just jostled between everyone. And I think, you know, with it being New Year and there are a whole lot of new people in the gym, it was one of those, I don't quite know where to fit into everyone else. And that's probably also, I don't usually train at the gym on a Friday. I usually train at home, doing my deadlifts and my dips at home. But I'm so layered up, and it's hard to explain everything, and you can't really see what I'm doing because the dungeon is like pitch black, my dungeon gym. So I decided to come in today, but it just didn't pan out as I wanted to. So that was kind of it. Then I decided, well, I'll do posing because that's bonus, and I'll just show you what my physique is currently looking like. Probably quite dry at the moment with all the cardio, sweating everything out, and because I've dropped my carbs. Yes, I eat carbs, but my body loves carbs. So if I just drop carbs just a smidge, from what I was doing obviously with CrossFit, I tend to dry out quite a bit. And of course, I'm still in a bit of a deficit, so I'm also not holding as much water. I don't know what I'm weighing. I'll weigh myself on Sunday and probably do my body fat. I don't think it's dropped much more than the last time I did it, but we'll see. And then I'll put that up as well. I've got one more day of training tomorrow, is front squats, and I'll probably do a little bit of glutes, hamstrings, and accessories tomorrow as well, depending on how I'm feeling. So yeah, that was today. I've got to go home and cook my meatballs. Okay, that sounded really, really, really bad. But I do actually have to go home and make some meatballs. So I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna cook and prep and do some meal prep. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but I was so busy with work that I just ran out of time. And then next week is a hectic week. So I've got training, I've got clients, and I've got some photo shoots. So I might film some behind the scenes of the photo shoots. And content creation, so you get to see a bit of what else I do in my day-to-day life besides training, which is kind of my world in terms of my happy place. But yes, that was today's training. It wasn't ideal. I was very distracted, and it happens, I know it does. One thing that I have noticed, so obviously it's taken my body a really long time to recover from the overtraining that I did when I was doing CrossFit. Literally, I stopped CrossFit, I would say November. So it's January now, so that's 2.5, potentially, about 2.5 months that I have stopped CrossFit and kind of let my body start to recover. And it's only now that I'm starting to get my energy levels back and I can actually focus and think, and I hadn't realized quite how much the overtraining had affected my mental state in terms of forgetfulness, in terms of my energy levels, in terms of motivation outside of the gym, because I had focused so entirely and on the CrossFit that everything else became so unimportant. And obviously that was one of the reasons that I decided to stop CrossFit, is because it was destroying everything outside of training, and as a result it also destroyed the training because I just couldn't recover. But it's only now that I'm actually starting to get into a mental state where I can actually feel human and have drive to do things outside of the gym and work and create and do all of the things that I actually love and enjoy and that excite me besides training. Because training is like excites me and I love it, don't get me wrong, but there is more to life than just training. And CrossFit eliminated everything else in my world and in my existence besides training. And I will actually do an entire video on CrossFit and what I did wrong and how I approached it badly and my opinions on CrossFit. And obviously that's my personal opinion, but yes, so that was today's training. It was okay. As you can tell, like beginning of the week, I'm like, yeah, go for it. And by the end of the week, my energy levels and everything starts to taper a bit. And that's completely normal. Don't get me wrong. That is completely normal. So if you are one of those people who's like, by Friday, Saturday, you're like, oh, ready to crash and burn, that is normal. And don't freak out and go, well, like, I can't do this. Sometimes you just need an extra rest day. Sometimes you just need a few more calories. Sometimes you just need that freaking cheat meal, and tomorrow is my cheat meal. Yee! I'm so excited. I'm gonna have some Cocoa Pops and maybe some ice cream. Yeah, but I love my cheat meals, but I also love my diet food. Not my diet food, but my normal food. I don't feel restricted, but you know, after a long week, I do love some Cocoa Pops. So I'm gonna go home, I've got to cycle home, I've got to make my meatballs and get on with work for the rest of the day. So I hope you have an absolutely amazing day, morning, night, whatever time it is. I'm gonna eat my protein yogurt, which I got in my bag, as my little snack before I head home. And I will catch you tomorrow for the last training day of the week and keep you posted on everything. You are awesome. Kick ass.